What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Home of Comics. This is Brayden, back again with another X-Men 97 Season 2 episode review. This is episode 5, Weapon X, Lies, and DVDs. I believe that there was a prequel episode to this in the original show titled Weapon X, Lies, and Videotape, but we have now upgraded to DVDs. Excellent. This is a kind of a side quest with Wolverine. We see Wolverine with Maverick, Yuriko, or Lady Deathstrike, if you so prefer, Sabretooth, and Morph. That's the team that he brings with him into the Weapon X facility. Um, the real purpose of this for Wolverine is to get his adamantium claws back, but to the rest of the team, essentially, they are just taking down Weapon X. They've all been, in some way, shape, or form, affected by Weapon X, the Weapon X program, save for Morph, who, of course, is just Logan's best friend. Morph obviously has romantic feelings for Logan as well. I'm sure that that played a part in their decision to come on the mission. We start off with the plane immediately going down, the jet immediately going down, and we notice that there's some virus that is impacting the animals on the terrain of the Weapon X facility. They go inside. They find the Doctor Cornelius, who is responsible for the Weapon X program, and he immediately turns into a bug-like creature. It sets the tone for this episode. This is going to be a horror-esque episode. I'm very excited by that. When I watched the clips of this episode, I was very intrigued by that premise. Going into this episode, I knew it would be a side quest of sorts. It was a little astonishing as to how little the other X-Men play a role in this episode. I kind of figured there'd be something at the end of this episode that kind of showcases, okay, this is how the rest of the X-Men reacted to this episode. It was literally just Wolverine and Morph. They were the only two X-Men in this episode. I just wanted to preface that Cornelius turns into, again, this big brood like insect creature. They essentially brought in the brood from outer space to interact with the Weapon X program. Unfortunately, this did not work, and they learned that adamantium is the only way that the brood can be killed. If you put them in an adamantium chamber, they will not survive the process. It's very clear what has to happen here. Logan has to go into the adamantium chamber, and thus will not be affected by the brood. Unfortunately, he gets taken over by a brood and kills Maverick, which sucks. But Maverick also wasn't essential at all to this episode in any capacity. So he was literally just like an extra character that existed solely to get killed off. Kind of an annoying trope, but I don't know anything about Maverick, so I wasn't really shocked that that happened. Yuriko's got some lore in X-Men 97 so far. Of course, Sabretooth does, Morph does, Logan, of course, is the main character. Of course, he's going to have some lore. But like I was like, I don't know who Maverick even is. So I'm like, this is obviously not ending well for him. The episode continues with Logan now being this brood like horrifying creature, which was really cool to see visually. And Morph refuses to abandon Wolverine. And throughout the way of this episode, throughout the way towards the Weapon X facility, Yuriko keeps calling him like a Kasune, which is like a shape-shifting fox companion in Japanese culture, and compares Morph to that, saying that they essentially are going to morph into whatever Logan needs them to do to finish the job. Which makes sense. Morph is obviously in love with Logan. This was established in season one, and Morph would pretty much do anything for Logan. We see that in this episode. They refuse to abandon Logan, even when Logan is clearly beyond saving. Now, of course, there's a good reason for it. The Brood will break out of the facility and take over everyone on Earth in the span of a week, as Morph put it. But there is something endearing by like this companionship that Morph has for Logan, despite Logan really not paying as much attention to them. It makes me want more for Morph and want more for Logan too. Logan's so obsessed with Jean that he fails to see a real option right in front of him. Obviously, the episode is fairly predictable from here on out. Omega Red is just in the facility, wakes up, and is like, "I'm going to inflict the brood on everybody." Oh, good shit, Omega Red. Yeah, awesome. So Wolverine is now this more again this brood-like creature. They obviously throw him in adamantium. I love the way that they do this. Morph essentially becomes Cyclops and just teases Wolverine the whole time, saying, "Oh, I'm gonna give Jean extra smooches tonight," playing to obviously Wolverine's deficiencies in terms of love. Throws this psychotic Wolverine into the adamantium chamber. He gets his adamantium claws back. He says the line, "I'm back, baby," and does the little like, and then right after that, we get a really cool action sequence. One of the only cool action sequences in the show and in the episode, where he just slices down a bunch of brood, and they escape the facility. And I'm assuming Omega Red's just dead. Obviously, Maverick died. He stays there. Everyone else makes it out alive. And then we have this touching moment on the jet, now that Wolverine's got his claws back, where Morph's just like, dude, I want better for you. I don't want you to just be this raging animal with claws. And Wolverine said, that's the best I am. That's the best I can be. And Yuriko just kind of gives him a look. And or gives Morph a look rather. And that's just kind of the end of the episode. I figured it would end in sort of that like weird, like touchy sort of place, but also, I again, like I really wanted to see the X-Men's reactions to Wolverine getting the adamantium back. Obviously, this is next episodes we'll see that, but it was obviously a character study into both Wolverine and Morph's psyches. I do think it was a good episode. I don't think it was exceptional. I think it was sort of run of the mill average in terms of X-Men 97 at least. So I'm willing to give this an 8 out of 10. I definitely think that the horror aspect of it elevates the episode. Otherwise, this is just kind of a side quest to establish more of Morph and Wolverine's character profiles. Either way, it's still a very fun episode. It's certainly a break from the apocalypse action we've been getting, and it's also a necessary story to tell. I think, again, to expand Wolverine as a character. He didn't get any runtime really in these last few episodes, so it was very important that they do it here. But yes, that's going to be my review of X-Men Season 2, Episode 5. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below your thoughts on the episode, and I'll see you guys in the next X-Men 97 review. Peace.